in the audio. All right. Okay. Good afternoon and welcome back to the class. Because some of you were asking, we can quickly recap the basic proportionality theorem, which is the first theorem we have done in the chapter of triangles. Before this, I had given you a video which was a short introduction of what is similarity, because we have already done on congruence of triangles in the previous years. Now we have quickly also understood what is similarity and how is it different from congruence. Two figures are said to be congruent only when they have both their shape and size to be identical. Only when the shape and the size, both of them are identical for two given plane figures, they are said to be congruent. But when we talk about similarity, one of these conditions is not necessary. That is, two figures will be said to be similar when they are having the same shape but not necessarily of the same size. All right, this is the basic difference between congruence and similarity. When you say congruence, definitely both the figures should have the same shape as well as same size. But when it comes to similarity, one of these conditions gets relaxed. They should definitely have the same shape but not necessarily the same size. So if two plane figures are having the same the same shape, and they are proportional in sizes to each other, then such plane figures will become similar. So a circle and a triangle cannot be called congruent figures at all because they don't have the same shape itself. Then we can't go till the size at all. But two triangles, when we tell they are similar, suppose I take a triangle ABC and another triangle DEF like this. I don't know if I'm going out of the frame. Let me check. Now, it is visible. Okay. So I have two triangles. Both are acute triangles, having all the three angles acute, ABC and DEF. By looking at them, immediately you should be able to decide that they are not congruent triangles. Why? Because though they have the same shape, they are after all triangles, but they are not of the same size. So definitely congruence is ruled out in the two triangles. But when you want to check for the similarity, can I say triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF? I have to check whether they have the same shape. They have the same shape, yes, because they are acute triangles. That means correspondingly all the three angles in ABC and all the three angles in DEF are equal. But the sides need not be equal, because you can see that the length of the side AB and the length of the side DE are not equal. But if I take the ratio of AB by DE and I take the ratio of BC by EF and I take the ratio of AC and DF, if all these three ratios are equal, that means what? They are proportional to each other. The corresponding sides, AB corresponds to DE, BC corresponds to EF, and AC corresponds to DF. If these corresponding sides, they are going to become proportional, then I can tell that the two triangles are similar. All this was discussed in the previous video. That's why I'm doing it quickly. So when you want to check for the similarity, there are two conditions. They should be of the same shape. When do two plane figures become of the same shape? When their angles, that is their corresponding angles, should be equal. If B is an acute angle and E is an obtuse angle, definitely the shape of the triangles will not remain the same, because an obtuse angle means this will be pointing like this. It's more than 90 degrees. So that itself will defeat the first condition that the two triangles are not similar, because their shapes are going to be different. All right. So this is what we discussed about similarity of triangles. Two triangles are similar if they have the same shape and the same size. So mathematically, when do you say they have the same shape? When their corresponding angles are equal. Then when I say they are having the same size, when it is congruence, it should have the same size. But when I say similarity, it is not necessary they are of the same size. But because their shapes are the same, their sides will become correspondingly equal. That means if I take the ratio of AB by DE And if I take BC by EF and AC by BF, you are seeing why I am telling corresponding sides continuously. That is very important, because in your congruence also you would have learned triangle ABC is similar to triangle BEF. Then here the correspondence is very important. The order in which you name a triangle will give the corresponding sides and angles. A corresponds to D in the second triangle. B in the first triangle corresponds to E. C in the first triangle corresponds to F. So if I take the side AB, corresponding side in the second triangle should be DE only. If I take BC in the first triangle, the corresponding side will be EF. Similarly, if I take AC in the first triangle, the corresponding side will be DF. You cannot change the order in which you take the sides. You can't take AB by DF because AB corresponds to DE only. This is the order in which the triangle is named. Alright, so this you should remember. So when two triangles become similar, the two conditions should definitely be satisfied. Their corresponding sides will be proportional and their corresponding angles will be equal. Then only the two triangles become similar. I hope I have spoken enough about similarity. Now this similarity of triangles will lead us to the first theorem in triangles, which is the basic proportionality theorem. I think this is also a beautiful video I have shared where everything is explained very neatly. Now I am going to quickly recap that theorem. So what does the theorem state? The basic proportionality theorem. You should have the basic proportionality theorem, the statement by heart. You should be able to repeat the statement clearly. See, now I am doing it. What does the basic proportionality theorem state? At least you should have your notebook with you now. You should have written down the note. Be having it.
If a line drawn parallel to one side
of the line is drawn parallel to one side of a triangle, intersecting the other two sides at distinct points, then the other two sides are divided in the same ratio. Now that is a very, very simple statement to remember, because as you are stating it, your diagram should get ready. You are drawing a line parallel to one side. So my triangle is ABC. My line is DE, which is drawn parallel to BC. Any side, you can draw a line parallel to one side of a triangle in such a way that it will intersect the other two sides. The other two sides are AB and AC. So it is intersecting the other two sides at distinct points, with two different points. Which are the points of intersection? The points of intersection are B and E. Alright, so it is intersecting AB at B and AC at E. So if you put this condition, if I draw a line parallel to one side of a triangle, those are the two parallel lines. DE is parallel to BC. In such a way that the line DE intersects AB at D and AC at E. Then there is something which is going to happen. If this condition, if a line is drawn parallel to one side of a triangle, intersecting the other two sides at distinct points, then what is going to happen? The other two sides, which are the other two sides? AB and AC. Because to the side BC you have drawn the parallel line. So the other two sides are AB and AC. So if you draw a line parallel to one side of a triangle, intersecting the other two sides at distinct points, then the other two sides are divided in the same ratio. Who is dividing AB and AC?
BE.
BE is the line which is dividing AB and AC. So these two parts, this line is dividing AB into AB and DB. And the same line DE is dividing AC as AE and EC. Now the ratio is the same. That is what you should get. So given, is it visible? Shall I write in black? So what is given to me is in triangle ABC, DE is parallel to BC. Alright, I have to prove if DE is parallel to BC, I have to prove AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. If a line is drawn parallel to one side of a triangle, then it intersects the other two sides, that is AB. Sorry, it divides the other two sides in the same ratio. That is AD by DB will become equal to AE by EC. This is the proof that you want. There is some construction that I have done. That's why I have done it in a different color. I think it was much better in the video that I had sent because they could use the smart board very, very smartly. That's why I am very, very happy that I could give that video to you. So the construction is you are drawing two perpendiculars. EF is perpendicular to AB and DG is perpendicular to AC. Why I have drawn these two perpendiculars? Because I am going to take the areas of triangles. Whenever I want the area of the triangle, what is the formula I know to find the area of a triangle?
Half into base into height.
Yes, it is half into base into height. So somewhere I need a perpendicular distance between the opposite vertex and the base. That's the reason I have brought those two perpendiculars. And I have also joined BE and DC. So this is the part of the construction that is available in the video, so I am not doing it there. Now how am I going to get this proof? I should get AD by DB equals AE by EC. So where is this AD and DB in the two? In the figure I have to see. Now AD is a part of this triangle. Can you see the small triangle ADE? AD belongs to that small triangle ADE. So first I will calculate area of triangle. ADE. That is half base. The base of this triangle I will take it as AD and the height, this is the perpendicular distance which is EF. Right? Next I will talk about the second triangle. This is the second triangle. BDE. Again for area of triangle BDE. Why I am talking about these two triangles specifically? Because that is where I have the AD and BD. BD is a part of this blue triangle. So if I take its area, it will be half into BD into again EF. Because this is a perpendicular distance between the vertex E and the opposite side. You may feel why the perpendicular is outside the given triangle. My triangle is over here and she is taking the perpendicular there. If it is an obtuse triangle, always the perpendicular will be outside the triangle. So EF is still going to remain the height of the triangle. So if I divide these two, that is area of triangle ADE with BDE. What do you think I'll have? That means I'm taking the ratio of these two areas. It will be half AD into EF divided by half BD into EF. So the half will get cancelled, the EF will go. I have AD by B. Right? So similarly, when you take it on the other side, again I'll take ADE. Now I will look at the base as AE and the height as DG. So you will get area of triangle AD as half into AE into DG. Right? And now the second triangle here will be DEC. Again the base will become EC and your height will be DG. So again you will have half EC into DG. So once again when you divide it like this, you will get area of triangle. I am doing it quickly because it is already done in the video. It is a quick recap. Still I am showing it to you because somebody was telling it's better if you start with that. You will get it as AE by EC. You can try it out on your own. That's not a big deal. Now this is exactly my focus. I have to show this AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. How can I equate these two? This is the right hand side of two equations. If the left hand sides become equal, I can tell the right hand sides are equal. Now how can I tell the left hand sides of these two equations? Suppose I call them equation 1 and equation 2. If I show that the left hand sides are equal, then I can automatically tell that the right hand sides will become equal and hence my proof is ready. So how will I show? Look at the numerator ADE, ADE. It is the same. What about that denominator BDE, CDE? Look at the area of triangle BDE and area of triangle CDE. These two areas, this triangle and this triangle. How can I show that they are equal? Is there any way in which I can show that they are equal? Because numerator is already the same. If I say the denominators are also the same, then my job is done. There is something that you have
Ma'am,
studied in the previous class, which will help you here.
Excuse me, ma'am.
we can take.
You speak,
Yes.
you speak.
Somebody is speaking. Yes, tell
Ma'am,
me.
actually, can you turn the camera a little bit to the right side? Okay.
Got it?
Could not see it too.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how do I show that these two areas will become equal? Where are these two triangles? The shaded triangle and this empty triangle. Can their areas be called to be equal? Is there any way I can tell these two areas are equal? Can you
Yeah,
understand
ma'am.
the two areas I'm talking about? Area 1 and area 2. Two triangles there. Now look at the speciality of these two triangles. Both of their base is the same, DE. DE is the common base in which on which the two triangles are sitting. And they are between the two same parallel lines. I have given you the clue. Both the triangles have a common base and they are between the same parallels. Last year in class 9 you studied this theorem. Two triangles having the same base and between the same parallels will always be equal in area. So it's done. So I can tell BDE is equal to CDE in area. The denominators have become equal. Already the numerators are equal. So the fractions in these two equations, the LHS will become equal. If the LHS in two equations are equal, the RHS will definitely become equal. Hence the proof. I have got that AD by BD has become AE by EC. BB or BD both mean the same. So you don't get confused with that. That's the proof. If you have already gone through the proof, drawn the diagram, prepared your notes, try to understand, try to write it 2-3 times on your own, then your job is done. If you are looking at the theorem today only as though it was my duty to come and tell you, see my dear children, this is basic proportionality theorem, this is how it has to be learned, you have already wasted 3-4 days time. Please don't do the same thing again and again. Nobody is going to wait for you. The environment is going to be online only. And this is the only way I can reach you. If you are not regular from day one, you are inviting problem. Is there anything that you want to clarify on this?
No, ma'am.
Clear? Please prepare your notes. Your basic proportionality theorem, I think I have shared it some 3 days ago. You should have gone through the video at least 10 times now to see how you could understand that, and this proof should be ready. Moreover, today I have explained it again also to you. All this I am not writing it theoretically because that is clearly done in the video. I don't want to waste time here. How the left hand sides have become equal and why the right hand sides have become equal and how I have reached my proof is all that available in the video. Did all of you get the video?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
It is there in the WhatsApp. It's there in
Yes.
the WhatsApp. So don't miss it. Please complete writing the notes and keep it ready. Basic proportionality theorem will come in the final exam. There is no doubt. It is an open secret. State and prove the basic proportionality theorem. Every board paper is having it. Even now you don't want to learn it. Nobody can help. Alright, so next we will move on to the converse of the basic proportionality theorem, for which I think I'll play a very short video. You should be able to go through it. Maybe I can share it once again in the WhatsApp also, so that there is clarity. You can, every video, see there is no need that you have to totally understand the whole thing in the first viewing itself. That is the advantage of having the video with you. You can play it n number of times as required because everybody's learning is not happening at the same pace. So please remember to see it again and again till your understanding is complete. All right. So let me go and share that video with you. I hope the audio remains clear. Let me come back. I hope I am sharing my screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, just let me know about the audio because it is a YouTube video only. It should not be a problem. But in case there is, please let me know. All right. Please pin my screen so that you get the complete video at a single stretch. I will not interfere in between unless you tell me there is a problem with the audio. All right. So watch it carefully. I am giving full volume.
A, B, and C. So a property dealer who has to sell these 3 plots is now confused. He wants to decide the price at which he should sell these plots. Now we know that more the area, more would be the selling price. But with that area, there's one more factor that affects the selling price, which is the ocean frontage.
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what is ocean frontage? Ocean frontage is actually the distance along the property that lies next to the ocean. So this distance, which is along the property, which is adjacent to the ocean, is actually ocean frontage.
Okay, this is a small example which is allowing you to understand as what is the importance of the converse of the BPT. Why should I ever know the converse of BPT? So she's just giving you a small daily life example where you may need to utilize the converse of the BPT to get a solution for this situation. Okay?
Again, this distance for plot B, which is along the ocean, is the ocean frontage. Again, this is ocean frontage for plot C. Now, more the ocean frontage, more is the selling price. So, which out of these 3 plots do you think would have the highest selling price if I look at ocean frontage? So, what the property dealer sees is that this land is actually in a shape of a triangle, and with this, he draws the boundaries of each of these properties. So, this is property A. This is property B. And this is the third plot of property. You can say this is plot C. What you observe is that this is the entire land is a huge triangle, and he also observes that the lines which are dividing these plots are also parallel. So as soon as we see parallel lines in a triangle, what can we conclude? We know from the basic proportionality theorem. From the basic proportionality theorem, we know that if a line is parallel to one of the sides of the triangle, then it would divide the triangle in the same ratio. He found the distance along, the total distance along the ocean was 100. And distance for plot A, the bottommost distance, this was 36, this was 24 for plot B, and for plot C, he finds out 20. Now, all he needs to do is he needs to find the ocean frontage of this distance, which is along the property near to the sea, again this distance and this distance. So, let's say this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. So, he wants to find X, Y, and Z. Accordingly, we can fix the prices. So, let's use basic proportionality theorem to find these 3 distances. So, this is what we have. Let's say this is X. If this is X, then this entire distance would be, this entire distance would be 100 minus X, because total is 100. X plus 100 minus X should give me 100. Let's name this big triangle PQR. So let's say this is P, this is Q, this is R. And let's look at this line, which is parallel to RQ. Let's call this as S and T. So we have this triangle PQR, and there's this line ST, which is parallel to one of the sides of the triangle QR, which is QR. So ST is parallel to QR, so I can apply basic proportionality theorem. So I can...
Sorry, what's the problem?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ma'am, ma'am, it is echoing, ma'am. So can you mute your?
Okay. Yeah, I shall do it. Yeah.
Can say that by BPT, which is basic proportionality theorem, what I can say is that PS by SQ should be equal to PT by TR. So I get PS by SQ should be equal to PT by TR. Now if I substitute these with the values, I know PS is 36, SQ is 24 plus 20, 44, PT is X, and TR is 100 minus X, because we know PR is 100. So this would be 100 minus X. Now solving this, what do I get? Cross multiplying 36 into 100 minus X should be equal to 44X. Or I can say 3600 would be equal to 44X plus this 36X. So I get 80X is equal to 3600. X would be 3600 divided by 80. So if you divide this, you would get 45. So X comes out to be 45. So I get that X, which is the distance along A next to the ocean, is 45. And since this plus this is total 100, we got X is 45. So the other part would be 55. Since 45 plus something should give me total 100, I get this as 55. Now what I need to find is Y, which is the distance along plot B, which is next to the ocean. Again, to find Y, I can apply BPT. Look at this small triangle. Let's call this triangle PQR now. Let's name this triangle as PQR, which is a small triangle. And let's say this side is ST. So again, if I apply BPT in PQR, you can see that ST is parallel to QR. So PS by SQ should be equal to PT by TR if I apply BPT here. So I can say 36 by 24 should be equal to 45 divided by Y. This distance is Y. So what do I get? From here I can say 36Y is 45 into 24, or I can say Y is 30. So now my Y comes out to be 30, and if this is Z, which is the ocean frontage of C is Z, then I know that Y plus Z should be equal to 55. I know Y is 30. So this gives me that Z would be 55 minus 30, which is 25. So I get Y is 30, Z is 25. So now I've got for each 45, 30, 25. And so now the property dealer can decide that A has maximum ocean frontage. So even though you see that A has lesser area, it looks as if A has lesser area than the other two. Because it has more ocean frontage, he can sell this also at a higher price than it would have if he would have just seen the area. So this is how he uses basic proportionality theorem to find the ocean frontage and accordingly decide the selling price. So we know that basic proportionality theorem states that if there's a line that is parallel, then the ratio of sides would be equal. Now let us look at the converse of basic proportionality theorem.
Yeah, I hope you understood how the basic proportionality theorem is used in a daily life situation where you decide on the price of a plot which is facing the sea front. That is the coastal line. If it is more, the price will be more. If the coastal line is less, you are seeing that it was 45, 30 and 25 for the three properties A, B and C. So based on the line, that is the coastal line drive, the plot will be sold at a higher or lower price. So here, to find which is having a larger or lengthier coastline, we were using the basic proportionality theorem. So if you know two lines in a given triangle are parallel, then the other two sides are going to be divided in the same ratio. So this was the basic idea we have used here to solve our given situation. Now there is something called the converse of this theorem. Can you guess what would be the converse? We just have said that if a line is drawn parallel to one side of the triangle intersecting the other two sides, then the other two sides are divided in the same ratio. This is the original theorem. That is the basic proportionality theorem. Now, if I want the converse of this, converse of a theorem means what? What was there in the original theorem as given will become to prove in the converse. And what was to be proven in the first original theorem will become given in the converse. Now, can you guess what will be the statement of the converse of this theorem? Any guesses? It's very simple. If a line is drawn parallel to one side, the other two sides are divided in the same ratio. If two sides of a given triangle are divided by a line in the same ratio, then that line becomes parallel to the third side. You understand how I have changed the given and to prove? In the original theorem, the given line was parallel to one side. If such a condition exists, then the other two sides are divided in the same ratio. But the converse is exactly the reverse of this. If the line is dividing two sides of a triangle in the same ratio, then I can go back and tell that line is parallel to the third side. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? I think I have stated it 2 times. Now let us go and see how the converse is stated.
What does the converse say? The converse says that if the ratio of sides is equal, then the line should be parallel. So now for converse, you have a line that would divide it into two equal ratios. All you need to prove is that that line would actually be parallel to the third side.
Write down this statement in your notebook, converse of BPT. If a line divides any two sides of a triangle in the same ratio, then the line must be parallel to the third side. Please write it down quickly. You're going to draw the diagram, understand and complete the proof in another 10 minutes. Do it fast. That's why I told you will have your notebooks and your textbooks with you every day when you attend the class. And if you're pretending on the other side of the camera, you are only inviting problem for yourself. That's not going to affect me at all. Converse or the BPT. One of this is definitely coming for the board exam, no doubt. Okay, in the hope that you have completed writing this, I'm proceeding with the video.
So say we have a triangle. Now I draw a line on this triangle. Let's say that this is line. Let's say this is line L, which I draw on this triangle. I draw it in such a way that it intersects AB at point D and say AC at point E. And we say that the ratio is also equal. We given that the line dividing two sides in the same ratio. So we also know that AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. So this is what we are given. What we want to find is, so this is what we are given. What we need to find is then the line must be parallel to the third side. That is, this line L should be parallel to the third side, which is BC. So I need to find that, proof that L is parallel to BC. I can say L or DE. DE produced is actually line L. So I can say DE is to prove that DE is parallel to BC. Now how do I move forward from this? Well, if this line is not parallel, then there would be some other line which would be parallel to BC. From this point D, I can draw many lines. If line L is not parallel, I can draw one line which would be parallel to BC. Let's say that this line is parallel to BC. And let's call this F. Let's say that DF is parallel to BC. So we draw a line DF which is parallel to BC. As soon as I get parallel lines, what can I apply? The basic proportionality theorem. So applying basic proportionality theorem, since this line is parallel to this line, I can say AD by DB would be equal to AF by FC. So by basic proportionality theorem, I can say that AD by DB would be equal to AF by FC. But I already know that this holds. It already given that AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. So already I have this. Now I know that AD by DB is equal to AF by FC. Also AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. So these two should be the same. That is my next step. I can equate these two. So now, what I want to prove is that this line DEL is parallel to BC. What I have got is that AF by FC is equal to, now AF by FC is equal to AE by EC. That is what I have got. Now what if I add 1 on both these sides? That would not change the equality. So let me add 1 to both these sides. I add 1 to both these sides. So if I add 1, I can take the LCM. LCM here would be FC. If I take LCM as FC, I would get AF plus 1 into FC, which is FC. And this would be equal to this expression here. LCM is EC. And this would be AE plus 1 into EC, which is EC again. So I get this now. Now what is AF plus FC? Let's look at here. AF plus FC. So AF plus FC is actually equal to AC. So AF plus FC is AC. So here I get AC by FC. Now I want to look at AE plus EC. What is AE plus EC? So AE plus EC is again this line AC. So I get this is equal to AC by EC. So this is what I get. Now I know that AC, since AC is same on both the sides, I can say 1 upon FC is equal to 1 upon EC, or I can say, taking reciprocal, that FC and EC are the same. Since FC is equal to EC, I can say that F and E both are the same point. So this line DF is actually the same as line E, which was DE. So these both points coincide, and hence F and E are the same points. Because FC is equal to AC, F and E are both the same points. So we know that DF was parallel to BC, but since F is equal to E, I can say that DE is parallel to BC. Or this line L, which is nothing but DE, is parallel to BC. Hence I can say that the line is parallel to BC, but this line means DE only, because this line is actually DE produced. So I can say that DE is parallel to BC. And this is precisely what I wanted to prove.
So that was the converse of the PPT. So I think I'll stop the share and come back quickly and give a recap of what she has tried to explain to you. The proof is definitely available in the video, so you can write it down as it is in your classwork. Now I'll just once again quickly tell you what she has been trying to explain. The way I would explain it to be done. So I'll stop the share here. I'll come back to my original screen.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just quickly explain what she did so far.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, you will share this video to our group.
Yeah, I will send. I'm recording also. This class is also getting entirely recorded. The whole thing will come to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So now this proof is very special because it is a proof by contradiction. Means you are assuming something knowingly that it is wrong. All right. So you will start with an assumption very well knowing that it is not correct. And when you start with an assumption which is not correct, you will end up in a result which is not true. And hence you will go back and tell that your assumption was wrong and hence what was given is true. So this is how a proof by contradiction works. That is why it is called a contradiction. Here, the converse of the PPT states that if the statement was already there for you, if a line is drawn dividing the two sides of a triangle such that they are divided in the same ratio, then I can tell that that line will be parallel to the third side. This is the converse. If I draw a line such that it divides two sides of a triangle in the same ratio, then I can definitely tell that that line is going to become parallel to the third side. This is the converse of the PPT. Now, how am I going to prove that? What I require to prove is the given line, that is DE, is parallel to BC. This is exactly what I have to show. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to assume there is one more line, DF, which is parallel to BC. You may find it very funny what she has drawn, DE parallel and DF is looking oblique and she is telling DF is parallel to BC. It is only to show you that such a line does not exist at all. DF anta ಒಂದು ಲೈನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರೋದು. So we are assuming a thing which is not true. That is why it is contradiction. Contradicting means not true. So we are going to assume that DF is parallel to BC. So DF is parallel to BC andre takshana basic proportionality theorem DF matte BC ke apply ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Because previously only we learned if a line is parallel to one side of a triangle, then it divides the other two sides in the same ratio. So my first thing which I will get, because I know my assumption is DF is parallel to BC. ನನಗೆ ಇದೇ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಇದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. DF ನೇ BC ಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ DF ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಟು BC ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಾನು DF ಮತ್ತೆ BC ಗೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಾಲಿಟಿ ಥಿಯರಂ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. That is AD by DB will become equal to AF by FC. Correct? I have applied the basic proportionality theorem on DF and BC. So AD by DB has become equal to AF by FC. Nange already gottide that the two sides of the triangle, what is given to me was AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. This was given to me. Why it was given? Because I was told by the statement of the converse of BPT that if a line divides two sides of the triangle in the same ratio, then I have to prove that that line is parallel to the third side. So this was given and this is what I have to prove. And from my assumption, I have assumed DF is parallel to BC. I got this ratio. Now look at these two ratios. This is already there. This I have got by using the BPT. Now when I am comparing equation 1 and 2, I am not writing the equation, the proof completely. I am just explaining it once again to you in case if you have not understood. So look at my equation 1 and 2. The left hand side AD by DB, AD by DB. There you have AE by EC and here you have AF by FC. So what I am going to do here is, I am going to add 1 to both the sides of the equation and see what is going to happen. Because the left hand sides are equal, my right hand sides will become equal. From 1 and 2 I have AE by EC is equal to AF by FC. So what she did was to show you that the numerators are the same. She is adding 1 to both the sides. So that nothing, there is no change in the value of the equation. So when this was done, you got it as AE plus EC whole divided by EC is equal to AF plus FC divided by FC. So look at the diagram. What is AE plus EC? It has become AC. on the right hand side you have AF plus FC. Again, that is also equal to AC. So what does it mean? AC is the same. That means from here you are getting EC is equal to FC. So go back to the diagram and try to understand what you mean by saying your EC and FC are equal. Can this happen? That the distance FC and AC, can it happen to become equal? When do you think it can become equal? When can the distance FC and EC become equal? One is longer, one is shorter. Can you see from the diagram here? But I am saying EC is equal to FC. Can it happen? When can it happen? It can happen only when DF and DE are the same lines. If E and F are the same point, then I can say EC is equal to FC. But they are two distinct points. So you are getting something wrong here. Can EC become equal to FC? Never. Because of my diagram, they are not equal. So why did you get a wrong conclusion? Because you started with a wrong assumption. DF cannot be parallel to BC. Only DE can be parallel to BC. DF cannot be parallel to BC. So you started with a contradiction, you ended up with a wrong result. So go back and tell that your assumption was wrong. That is, DF cannot be parallel to BC, only DE can be parallel to BC, and hence the proof. The proof works on contradiction. You start with a wrong assumption, you end up with a wrong conclusion. So you go back and say, this is not true. Why it is not true? Because my assumption was wrong. Your assumption is wrong means what? What is given was true. That means DE is parallel to BC is true, and hence the proof.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, little bit bend the camera down.
That's all. I have not written anything beyond that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Should we write this?
Don't copy this. This is only an explanation I am giving you. The proof is available in the video because all the written things I have avoided. I have spoken more and written less. But I have exactly said what is the proof. This is a proof by contradiction. Starting with a wrong assumption, ending with a false conclusion. Why did you get a wrong result? Because you started with a wrong assumption. So if this assumption is wrong, then what was given originally DE becomes parallel to BC. So there cannot be another line other than DE which can be parallel to BC. If this condition is given, AB by DB is equal to AE and by EC at the ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ DE only will be parallel to BC. There cannot be another line called DF which can become parallel to BC. So this is how the argument goes in the proof. I hope it is clear. So basic proportionality theorem as well as the converse should be done and completely learned, understood before you come to the class tomorrow. Because we are going to take up the problems based on BPT and its converse. Anything you have clarification about, you can quickly ask me. Otherwise, we will end our meet here. I think I'll stop the recording here. Any queries, you can quickly ask me.
No, ma'am. I don't have.